Welcome to TV Recaps. Today I will be recapping an American science fiction drama set in a dystopian future where the human race has lost their sense of sight following the outbreak of a deadly virus. Before we start, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for our channel. Please sit tight and enjoy the recap of the TV show Season 2. Oh, and of course, spoilers ahead. The show begins with Baba Voss parting ways with Kafun, his stepson, and Paris, a fellow tribe member, to sneak into Travantes to search for Haniwa, his stepdaughter. She is being held captive by Ito Voss, his brother and commander-general of the Travantian army. Unfortunately, Baba gets discovered and captured by the enemy. He gets tortured by Ito, as revenge for the beatings Ito received from him as a child and for killing their father. In his cell, Baba encounters Tamakti June, the former Witchfinder general, imprisoned in Travantes after surviving the attack from Boots and Queen Sebef Kane. Tamakti tells Baba that Magra, his wife, is alive. He reveals that she is the rightful heir to the Payan throne, but was overthrown by her older sister, Sebef, and forced to hide her real identity. Baba is shocked by the news. Ren, Ito's top lieutenant, is placed in charge of guarding Haniwa. Unbeknownst to others, she was born with the gift of sight. However, Haniwa discovers Ren's secret. Haniwa tries to escape but fails as she could not bring herself to kill Ren. In return, Ren takes her to an abandoned apartment filled with art and books from before their time. They kiss and start to develop romantic feelings for each other. Meanwhile, Magra, Sebef, and the Witchfinder army have arrived at Pensa. Sebef consecrates Pensa as the new Payan capital, ejecting Lord Harlan, the beloved ruler of Pensa, from his own home. To quell rumors that she was the one who destroyed Kanzua, the former capital city of Payan, Sebef falsely proclaims that it was the Travantians who destroyed Kanzua and vows to go to war with them. She also declares she is pregnant with a sighted child and that sighted people will no longer be hunted as witches. The announcement causes significant dissent amongst her subjects. Sadly, Sebef later miscarries the child she conceived with Boots and kills him in a fit of anger. Back in Travantes, Ito decides to use Haniwa as a brooding mare to conceive sighted children for his army. To save her, Ren frees both Baba and Tamakti from their cell. While they fend off incoming soldiers, Ren goes looking for Haniwa and successfully saves her. Baba gets into a brawl with Ito but loses the fight to him. Haniwa arrives just in time to save Baba. Together, they fight their way out of the city. Ren declines Haniwa's offer to join them and stays behind. In Pensa, Sebef is struggling to maintain her position of power amidst growing dissent from her subjects. To gain their support, Sebef proposes that Magra marries Harlan. However, she refuses as she is already married to Baba. Sebef warns Magra that without Harlan's influence in Pensa, her sighted children will not be safe. Magra reluctantly agrees but only to a platonic marriage of convenience. Meanwhile, Toad, a highly skilled witchfinder, has found Kafun and, under orders from Magra, intends to escort him safely back to Pensa. Paris, however, stays behind to wait for Haniwa and Baba. They arrive on Magra's wedding day and Kafun begs her not to marry Harlan. Magra promises to explain everything later and proceeds with the wedding. Kafun watches in disappointment as her mother gets married to another man. After escaping Travantes, Baba, Tamakti, and Haniwa are on their way to reunite with Kafun and Paris. Midway, they run into slavers but are too tired to fight them off. Luckily, Paris and warriors from the Compass, a secret society sworn to protect the sighted, come to their rescue. Paris reveals that she used to be a Compass guardian until she lost the sighted child she was assigned to protect, Jeremarael, Haniwa's birth father. Next, the group heads for Pensa to find Magra and Kafun. Back in Travantes, Ito's leadership is called into question by the council for letting Baba and Tamakti escape. Unaware of Ren's betrayal, Ito concludes that the only one who could navigate his way out of a Travantian prison is Jeremarael or his sighted children. While questioning him, Ito realizes he has been blinded by Baba and decapitates him. He captures Jeremarael's oldest son, Alaman, and forces him to work for Tormata, a military scientist. Sometime later, Travantes requests a diplomatic summit with Paya. Sebef appoints Magra as her emissary but will only accept peace if they make a formal apology and pay reparations for the attack on Kanzua. Ito, on the other hand, sends Ren to sabotage the summit and make sure negotiations fail. Baba and his group arrive at Pensa and reunite with Magra and Kafun. Baba is shocked to find Magra married to Harlan but reluctantly accepts the arrangement to keep his family safe. Tamaki keeps his arrival in Pensa a secret and moves around quietly to recruit witchfinders who are still loyal to him. He approaches Toad and instructs him to pass a message to Magra. Toad passes the message to Magra through Paris, who requests that he protects Kafun. Feeling a deep connection with Paris, Toad accepts her request and starts training Kafun in the art of battle. Later, Toad takes Magra to meet with Tamaki, where they devise a plan to overthrow Sebaf. At night, Sebaf visits Kafun and confides in him about the loss of her baby, gaining his sympathy. Taking advantage of his compassion, Sebaf seduces Kafun and gives him a hand job. Next morning, Magra, Harlan, and Baba depart for the peace summit. However, Paris has a premonition that they will be betrayed. Haniwa rushes to the summit to warn them. Despite her warning, they proceed with the summit. At night, Harlan sets up a private meeting with the Trevantian ambassador. Magra promises that Sebaf will be replaced by her as queen very soon, by which time she will disavow the apology and expose the actual culprit behind Kanzua. The ambassador agrees to her terms. Afterwards, Haniwa and Ren meet in secret and make love to each other. While everyone is asleep, Payan assassins attack the camp, killing the entire Trevantian peace delegation except for Ren. She is convinced that Haniwa lured her away so that Baba could kill the rest of the delegation. Unbeknownst to Ren, the assassins were sent by Sebaf to foil peace negotiations. She returns to Trevantes and is questioned by Ito on how she managed to escape unharmed. Ren reveals to Ito that she is sighted. He is stunned by the revelation. Back in Pensa, Sebaf has dinner with Kafun and convinces him to take a hallucinogenic drug with her. While intoxicated, Sebaf makes sexual advances towards Kafun which leads to them having sex. Following the failure of the summit, Sebaf declares that war is imminent with the Trevantians. Unexpectedly, Tamaki appears before the court and reveals that it was Sebaf who flooded and destroyed Kanzua. In a panic, she calls for Magra and Tamaki to be arrested for treason. Harlan steps in and confirms that the allegations are true. Tamaki prepares to behead Sebaf but is stopped by Paris, who reveals that she is pregnant. Instead, Sebaf is placed under house arrest until the child is born. Kafun approaches Sebaf and accuses her of seducing him to get her pregnant. She claims that their child will rule the world and pressures Kafun to tell everyone that he is the father. With Ren leading the way, Ito and his army are approaching Pensa faster than anticipated. Haniwa shares with the War Council that Ito is using sighted soldiers to give them an advantage in the war. To even the odds, Haniwa and Kafun volunteer to join the fight. Baba strongly objects, but Magra allows them to make their own decision. Magra heeds Tamaki's advice and refrains from joining the war. Instead, she gives a stirring speech which greatly inspires the soldiers before they march off to battle. Tamaki leads the Payan army out to meet the Trevantians at Greenhill Gap Fortress, where they have the high ground. Later that night, assassins, hired by Ito, attempt to kill Magra. Harlan comes to her rescue but is injured in the process. In a desperate maneuver, Magra fatally stabs the assassin, narrowly surviving the encounter. Next morning, the Trevantian army has reached the fort, outnumbering their forces 2-1. Haniwa approaches the Trevantians to explain to Ren that Sebaf, who was solely responsible for the assassinations, has been replaced by Magra and it is not too late for peace. Unfortunately, arrows start flying, initiating the first wave of attack on Paya. They close the gates and prepare for battle. Before the Trevantians break down the gate, reinforcements arrive from the hidden tribes of Paya to fight for Baba, secretly recruited by Paris and Toad days before the war. The two armies clash, with Baba and Tamaki leading the charge. They lure the Trevantians into a narrow path covered in oil and light it on fire, burning many of them to death. Ito retaliates with crossbow soldiers guided by a sighted boy, killing many Payan soldiers. Kafun jumps the boy to stop him from giving commands but gets cornered himself. Toad comes to his rescue but is killed shortly after. Baba lures the remaining Trevantian forces into a trap, where he breaks the ice their enemies are standing on, drowning them in icy cold water while he climbs to safety using ropes. Ren also falls but manages to crawl her way out of the icy waters. After the battle is won, Baba hears a faint whistle and realizes that Ito is calling him. He follows the whistle to a bridge, where they clash in a fight to the death. In his final moments, Ito accepts that Baba killed their father to save his life and finally forgives him. Hanua releases Ren and tries to convince her to stay, but she chooses to return to her family in Travantes, breaking her heart. Kafun is disappointed in Hanua for releasing an enemy captain who has killed many of their own. Paris finds Toad's body and mourns his death in silence. The Payan army returns to Pensa victorious. Magra promotes Tamekti to High General of the Payan army and converts the remaining Witchfinders into Payan royal guards. However, most of them turn it down, refusing to betray their original mandate. While everyone is asleep, Baba says his goodbyes and leaves Pensa. Paris goes to check on Sebef's pregnancy but sadly gets killed by her. As Paris dies, Sebef tells her that she will kill anyone who tries to take her child from her. The end. Please stay tuned for the next TV recap. Comment below on what you liked or disliked about our video. Thank you for watching.